Hello and welcome to the 2 Minute Writers Challenge. It is fantastic to have you here today on this Author Timeline Thursday. Today's quote comes from Earl Nightingale, who said, "Success may be defined as progressive realization of a worthy goal." Success in and of itself, I think, is really rather meaningless. Because once you achieve the goal, it loses all its desire, all its aura, all its mystery, right? It's in the attempting to get there. It's in the work required to achieve that success. That's where all the joy and the fulfillment truly lies. Embrace the journey. That's a line that we hear a lot. Embrace the journey. And I highly encourage you to do that when you're writing your book, because it can be a long and challenging process. But it doesn't have to be a painful one. It doesn't have to be a horrible one. It can be one that's filled with joy, filled with power, filled with gratitude, and filled with fulfillment, filled with excitement. So take the pleasure in those small daily wins as you're working on your book, as you're traveling on your journey down publication highway, because these really are the true measure of success. A simple thing like, did you schedule your writing session? Seems like a really simple thing. It takes you 12 seconds. And yet that's a really powerful, powerful step towards completing your book. It's a win that's worthy of celebration. And next is, did you show up for those writing sessions and write? Did you show up at the appointed hour and do what you said you were going to do? Because if you did, that's another great reason to celebrate. It doesn't matter if you wrote 5 words or 500 or 5,000 in that writing session. What's important is that you showed up and you did the work that was required for the length of time you committed to doing it. And then do you schedule that appointment, show up, and write, even when you don't feel like it? Even when it's the last thing in the world that you want to do? I do argue that I believe that's the biggest win of all. Because when you show up on those days where you don't want to do it and you do it anyway, when you have to dig down deep inside your heart, deep inside your soul, and figure out, how can I actually get myself to do this one thing that feels insurmountable in this moment? I mean, that's just nonsense. It's not true. But you have to sit down and start. And once you sit down and start, all the magic happens. All that really great stuff all those words start to flow out of your head and onto the page. And suddenly you don't feel like you don't want to do this anymore. Suddenly you're feeling fantastic. This is awesome. I love what's happening here. That's that power of accomplishment, that when you do these things, even when you don't feel like it, it's those moments that define you as a writer. Because those are the moments where you're not doing the thing because it's easy. You're doing the thing because it's the hardest thing in that moment. And you overcame that challenge and did it anyways. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. That is the thing that's going to get your book written and published out into the world. If you keep putting off those days where it feels difficult, your book is stranded on someday island, and nobody wants to be there, let alone stranded there with your unfinished book. It's all about setting clear goals, little tiny micro goals, and then keeping your appointments with yourself and doing the work, living in integrity. And all living in integrity means is, I showed up, I did the thing I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it, whether I felt like it or not. It really is that simple. Philippians 3:14 is a great verse for this. Let me just throw that up on screen for you. I press toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Jesus Christ. This verse emphasizes the importance of continually striving towards a worthy goal. For you and me, that's completing our first draft. Because we can't publish a book until we write the first draft. Because that's the very first major milestone in getting our book written and finished and published out into the world. Got to finish that first draft. So commit to that with everything you've got. Commit to completing your revisions. That second, third, and fourth draft, where you're honing everything that you wrote in that first draft into something that's crystal clear, that will touch the heart of your reader. And it's grabbing onto our courage and doing all of this, putting our book out into the world, even when we're terrified, so that we can make the impact we know we were born to make. We can't do it any other way. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. I also want to encourage you to go to writingmentor.pro/manuscript math, because I think that if you're struggling with getting your first draft written, the manuscript math calculator will help you get there. And so will the other tools that are on that page that will help you design that daily writing system so you can schedule those appointments at a time that fits into your life. And you can show up for those appointments and do the thing you said you were going to do. And then also do that last part is write whether you feel like it or not. That's the pathway to success. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.